warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
Good
Doctor.
afternoon, ma'am.
It seems that the opening is quite sentimental or emotional here.
You can say that again, Doctor.
Okay, about the presenters today, are you ready to present your
Yes, ma'am.
comprehensions about Roman Jacob sounds? Wow. I
Inshallah
think
ready.
it relates to the songs that has just been played by the two, perhaps. Pak Hen, yeah? Pak Hen, sorry. Played by
Haris
Pak
too.
Hen just now, yeah.
Ma'am.
Okay, without any further ado, for the presenters, I give the screen to your time.
Sorry, Dr. Rina, still
Yes.
wait, Miss Putri.
Oh, we still
I'm actually here,
ready?
Miss Uni.
Oh, ready?
Yeah.
already. Okay.
And also, actually, I'm really sorry, Dr. Rina, because I can't actually turn on my camera because I'm in the middle of on the journey. So yes, I can't turn on my camera. Is that fine? I mean, for now.
What about if I forbid it?
Oh,
Of course.
sorry.
Yeah, it's
So
okay.
is that okay? All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr.
Okay.
Rina. Okay. And also, Miss Uni, can you please help me to do the share screen?
Okay, wait. It is clear.
It's still loading actually. Yes, right now I can see that. Okay, let me just start it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Okay, thank you so much for those who already respond here. And also, did you all already have lunch? I'm sure yes, right?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, I see. Well, hopefully we're not going to be sleepy, especially our metro today is actually very interesting because we're going to talk about critical theories and English and literature learning. But before that, in this presentation, we'll explore how literature, language teaching, and educational research relation and how but critical theory and technological advancement continue to shape our understanding and practice in the classroom. And also, our discussion will center around 5 key areas, as you guys can see that. And then the last, it should be like the conclusion part. And all right, I think there is it then. And as our first speaker, I think it should be Miss Uni. And also, I forgot Dr. Rina because Mr. Arif, he can't even join into our Zoom meeting because he already got a permission, right, in our group WhatsApp. So yes, so it's only be like me and Miss Uni. Okay, I think as the first speaker, it should be Miss Uni. Time is yours. Miss Uni, are you there? Because we can't hear you.
Okay, answer. Is it now? Thank you, Miss Putri. Now I will explain about the first point, the reason for using literature in language teachings. Using literature work in language learning not only increase the teachings material, but also provide a more meaningful and contextual learning experience for students. Here are the main reasons. The first is about valuable authentic material. Valuable authentic material is it literature present language in natural and uncontrived way. In this advance, student can learn the structure of language, vocabulary, and expression as used by native speaker. For instance, reading short story or novel allows students to see how tenses, idiom, everyday expression are used in real context. And the second is about cultural increasement. In this second reason, cultural increasement means that literature reflects the culture, tradition, and value of the language speaker. Through literature work, students can understand the way of thinking, habit, and lifestyle of other cultures. This is very important so that language learning is not straight from understanding its cultures. And the third is about language increasement. Language increasement means that literature introduces students to various form and style of language, such as formal, informal, poetry, dialogue, monologue, and etc. It also helps students expand their vocabulary, sentence structure, and style of expressions. The language in literature is often more beautiful and creative, thereby stimulating student sensitivity to language. And the last is about personal influence. This is story or poem touch the emotion, imagination, and personal experience of students. Reading literature can make students more motivated and interested because they feel connected to the character or the plot of the story. It also encourages discussion, reflection, and self-expression in target language. Hello? Okay, and the next, this is about benefits of using literature in language class. Benefit of using literature in language class have 6 points. There are motivating material, access to cultural background, the third about encouraging language acquisitions, and 4, expanding student language awareness, developing student interpretive ability, and the last is about educating the whole persons. And about motivating material here, based on the larger side, literature is motivating for several reasons. First of all, as literature is highly valued, students of English might experience a real sense of achievement tackling literary material in the classroom. From the point number 1, it's explained that literature has high value in learning, and when students successfully understand literary text in English, they will feel proud and satisfied with their assessment. Is great instructive motivation in learning. Reading literature works can provide a fun and meaningful learning experience as students can interpret story, character, and conflict in their own ways. And from the access cultural background and encourage language acquisition. Based on Ajar, say, reading literature in English does encourage students to become broadly aware of the social, political, and historical events which form the background to particular play or novels. By means of reading literature, students can learn how a member of particular society might behave in specific situations. For number 2 and number 3 is mean about literature reflect the value, belief, and cultural practice of the author and society from which the work originates. Through literature, students can understand the social, political, and historical context that provide the background for the text they read. For example, novel can illustrate how society view gender, rules, individual freedom, or power structure. Thus, literature becomes a cultural window that broadens student perspective on the outside world, which is very important to foreign language learnings. And point the third, it means that students can understand how someone from certain culture behave in specific situation through character and dialogue in literary text. This provides a model of realistic language use, which helps students improve their reading, speaking, listening, and writing skills simultaneously. And number 4, larger side, expanding student language awareness, accept that literary language sometimes differ from common usage. However, this is not a handicap. Reader may find out what the different are and how they affect the meaning as they become more sensitive to some of the overall features of English. It means that expanding student can help students understand that language is not always literal, and it expands their awareness of various forms of expression in English. And number five is developing student interpretative ability. Raja say they are rich in multiple levels of meaning and demand that the reader or readers is active influence in teasing out the unstated implication and assumption of the text. It means that literature not only trains language skill, but also honest logic, deep interpretation, and student critical understanding of implicit meaning. And the last is about educating the world persons. Roger says, also agree that literature educate the world person as it can help to stimulate the imagination of our students to develop their critical abilities and to increase their emotional awareness. It is mean, for number six, the use of literature in learning is not just about language and cultures, but also about the holistic development of student character and personality, intellectual, emotional, and sociality. And the next, we maybe can explain by Miss Putri. Miss Putri, ready?
All right.
Or
Wait a second. Okay, the next is about a process in teaching literature in ELT. We've already divided into several points here. The first point is about reader respond approach. Well, basically, this major aspect tells us about the reader response, about how to approach it, and also this allows students to use their perspective ideas and.
sorry,
Uh,
kepencet yang mana? Sorry.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, this allows students to use their perspective, such as like brainstorming as well, how to get some ideas, and also they will use the emotion in interpreting literary works. And then the second point is about language-based approach. The language-based approach focuses on understanding the language of literature, providing a foundational and accessibility method for language learners. And also, it's also included some activities such as brainstorming, rewriting again the stories that they already read, and summarizing, of course, at the last line, and closest exercises. And maybe you may also jigsaw reading to enhance comprehension, collaboration, and also critical thinking, the most important one. Okay, please, next slide. Okay, next, we're going to move on into research in language, literature, and education. But the first question here is about what is critical theory, and of course, I think Dr. Rina already mentioned it since the first time that we had the class with Dr. Rina. Okay, critical theory is a framework critics seeks to transform society by examining power, inequality, and social structure. And based on the critical theory, originates from the Frankfurt School, and also in education, it challenges power structures, ideologies, and promotes emancipation. And also in language and literature, critical theory helps analyze text beyond surface meaning. Okay, next, Miss Uni. Next, research in language. They already provided some points here, but I just want to mention several things. Just research critical theories over tools to analyze how language reflects and shapes social power and inequality. Number one, we've got CDAA. It's already mentioned based on the previous group before because it analyzes how language structures power. The second is about application in language teaching, examining classroom discourse such as textbook, for example. And then the last is about encourage learners to question authority and social norms in language use. Next, Miss Uni. Okay, next is about research in literature. In literature studies, critical theories provide perspective to analyze how text reflects societal ideologies and marginalizes voice. The first one is about post-colonial theory, feminist theory. I think Dr. Rina always mentioned about this one, and Marxist criticism, and etc. The second is about literature becomes a lens to critique culture, identity, and social injustice. And for example, maybe analyzing To Kill a Mockingbird through race and class lens. Okay, next, Miss Uni. Research in education. In educational research, critical theory emphasizes the role of schools in social change and question traditional teaching practice, such as pedagogy, critical pedagogy, and then action research and reflective practice that challenge traditional classroom norms, and then about examining curriculum reinforce or resist or social inequalities. Okay, next, Miss Uni. Okay, I've already made some pointers here. This is already like a summary from incorporating technology advancement in teaching literature. I've already mentioned about four things here. The first one is about the digital learning platforms. Yeah, as we can see or as we know already, the advancement of digital technology, including AI, has significantly reshaped the landscape and literature education. This integration promotes interactive, multimodal, and personal approaches to teaching, offering new ways for students to engage with literacy texts. The first one is about digital learning platforms and online classroom. For example, the first one is about books. It's about books here and also audiobooks. Books such as taking literature and language learning online and teaching literature at a distance, maybe for example, and discuss how virtual environments enhance access to literature through collaborative tools such as video conferencing, shared documents, and digital assessment. These tools help support students' autonomy and inclusivity, especially in remote or maybe even hybrid learning contexts. And then the second is about digital formats and reading habits. I've already mentioned about ebooks and also audiobooks. Based on the Carries Pigeoness, research into how digital devices transform literary reading shows that while ebooks and audiobooks increase access and convenience, they also shift how students engage with narrative, structure, and pacing. The convenience of digital reading fosters reading across context, for example, like mobile devices that we always use nowadays, but also introduces challenges like shallow reading and distraction. And then the third is about AI tools. I think we always use, I think it's not only we, but mostly me. I always use the ChatGPT, for example, and then lead linker and then t-tags. The lead linker, you may use that for the large language models to help students make interdisciplinary connection between literature and other fields such as ethics or even science. And then the next is about t-tags, is assist teachers in curating diverse and relevant text using AI-supported knowledge graphs. Next is about ChatGPT. It can support creative and analytical writing tasks, help students brainstorming themes, reimagine plots, or write from a character's perspective, and etc. And then it's about Voyant tools. Okay, it's about Voyant tools. It actually enables students to perform telomeric analysis, such as tracking word, for example, frequency or sentiment across a text. And then number five is about opportunities. Number four, sorry, is about opportunities and some challenges that we may face of both digital and AI-based technologies provide significant advances. The advantage one is about promotes engagement and personalized learning path, enhances cross-disciplinary learning, and enables creative and analytical exploration. And but also we also some faces some challenges here, such as risk of over-reliance on technology, ethical consideration around AI-generated content, potential loss of deep, immersive reading, and maybe the teachers must adapt to new pedagogical models and ensure digital literacy how it works actually. Okay, Miss Uni, next. Okay, for the conclusion, maybe Miss Uni, can you please help me?
Okay. The conclusion, numerous reasons that benefit of the adopt things. Sorry. adopting literary study in ELT, yet the challenge for students are essentially to be a concurrence or cannot be neglected. Hence, the appropriate approach, method, procedure, material, and other pedagogical elements should be the priority considerations before teaching. Research of literature in ELT has the potential to be candidate, such as the trend today incorporating technology advance. However, in conducting research, the literature research methodology is crucial to be comprehended optimally as the foundation of the research. Maybe enough. This is conclusion. And next, I will open the Q&A. Does anyone have questions? Hello?
Yes. Yes, Miss Uni.
Okay.
I have a
Does
question.
anyone have question? Okay, Miss Lina, yeah.
Yes, Miss. Okay.
Okay, Miss Lina.
Thank you for the time. The question is quite simple. Why is critical theory important in educational research, and how does it challenge traditional teaching practice? That's the question. Thank you.
Maybe I will leave it again. The question from Miss Lina. Why is critical theory important in education research? And how does it challenge traditional teaching practice? Right? Miss Putri,
That's true.
would you answer?
Okay, like right now. Okay, I think right now, yeah, let me try it. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Lina, for the question. All right. I think critical theory in education, inspired by thinkers like Paulo Freire, for example, he emphasizes the role of education in promoting social change. It also challenges the idea of students as passive recipient of knowledge, and instead of promotes critical pedagogy, he also encouraging reflective teaching and action research. It examines how curriculum may uphold or resist inequality, pushing teachers to rethink their approaches. Well, I think that's all from me. Okay, maybe later, yeah, Dr. Rina, please help me. Okay, maybe the second question. Anyone who wants to ask? Oh yeah, Miss Lina, is that
Miss Lina
already
and
clear?
Miss Astria.
Yes. Yes, thank you for the answer, Miss Putri.
Okay. Okay, the second question maybe.
Yeah, may I?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. Wait. The question, how does reading literature help students understand a culture better?
From the question, Miss Astri.
Yes.
I will answer the questions. Sorry. How does reading literature help students understand a culture better? This is the answer. Reading literature gives students access to cultural backgrounds, political and historical context of a story or play. It shows how people from a particular society think, feel, and behave, helping readers to understand cultural value and perspective more deeply. Is it enough, Miss Dia?
Enough. Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And anyone? Miss Winnie, yeah. Miss Winnie? Yeah.
Thank you for your explanation, Miss Putri and Miss Uni. I would like to ask, why is literature considered a valuable, authentic material in language teaching?
Yeah, thank you, Miss
Got
Winnie.
it?
I will read it again. Why is
Thank you.
literature considered a valuable, authentic material in language teachings? And the answers, literature is considered a valuable, authentic material because it provides real-life language used in meaningful context. It is reflect Queen's communication, cultural reference, and emotional needs, which help readers experience the language as it is natural, used in different social and cultural settings. It is enough, Miss. Maybe Miss Putri can add the
Thank you, Miss Uni, for
or-
your answer.
Miss Putri.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Miss Suni, to
Yeah.
give the answer here. And I think it's supposed to be like the end of our presentation today. I think that's all for today. Sorry for the mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All right, excellent job for the current group who has already presented the material today, but I think I misunderstood with the material today. I thought that the material today is about Roman Jacobson's. I forgot that Pak Han had already switched, the
Yes,
schedule.
ma'am.
The
I'm very
material
sorry.
is supposed to be in 13 meetings, and it's supposed to be actually, according to the RPS one, following the schedule of RPS, is about Roman Jacobson's today. So then I'd like to share my PPT about critical theories in English and literature in ELT. Okay, hold on a second one. And here they are, my PPT. It's about critical theory in English and literature in ELT. Well, actually, mostly the materials about this has been explained excellently from the presenters today, and all of the points according or relating about critical theories that can be applied in ELT has been described very well from the presenters. There are several points according to my PPT. It's about this one. The first one I'd like to share or shed a light about the reasons for using literature in language teaching. Why we should using literature in language teaching. And the next one is the benefits when we would like to apply it, and then approaches that we can implement when we are going to talk or discuss about critical theories in ELT. And the fourth one is research in language and literature. And the last one, it relates to our condition today, and we should incorporate or infuse technology advancement in teaching literature, right? Okay, well, the first one is the reasons why we have to or we should mix or utilize literature in language teachings. The first reasons ones, because when we are going to use literature, because it is a valuable, authentic material. So I think is literature work is something valuable because it's not only about scientific information, but also about experience in life. We learn something meaningful from the literature works, right? So that's why it is a valuable, authentic material. And the rest of our moral value or message or something that we can share to our students when we are going to apply literature works as our material. And the next one is, of course, culture enrichment, because we are not only learning our culture through the literature works, but also beyond of the cultures. Can be from Westerns, can be from Eastern, and so forth. And the next one is the language enrichment. Our students can learns the language from the vocabularies that we present on literature works. And the last one is personal involvement. When we teach it, we are not only transferring the material, right, informing the vocabulary, informing the dictions, but also we learn lessons from the literature works that we teach to them. These are several reasons when we would like to put literature works in our language teachings. And for the next one, what are the benefits when we are going to use literature in language class? The first one, motivating the material, because of course, when we would like to teach our students, we have to consider the situations, the conditions, what kind of material that suit to our students, starting with the most familiar one for them, right? And then we have to observe what kind of material that interesting to our students, that kind of attractive for them. We have to consider about that one, right? And then the next one, the benefits with we can access to culture backgrounds, not only our background in the nation's context or Indonesian culture background. So we can also recognize to them, right? And then encouraging language acquisitions to them, expanding students' language awareness too, right? We are not only teach to them some new vocabularies, but also literature, vocabularies, and so forth. For example, figurative language, metaphor, personification, and so forth. We can introduce to them about this. And the next one is developing students' interpretative abilities. So this is connecting to the critical theories, right? Why the actors do that, why the stories can be like that, why the end is like that. So this is kind of like stimulate our students to think critically. It's not only receiving and then memorizing and then respond result from the memory is done, right? So, and in the literature context or literature analysis, the students can interpret it according to their imagination, the way of their thinking and so on. And one thing that we should underline or highlight is when we are going to present literature works as our materials in teaching or learning process, they have to learn about when they present their argumentation, they should have the reason why. And this is kind of critical thinking, not only delivering the information based on the textbooks only, but they have their own interpretations, imaginations. They should also attach their reasons. Why? This is characteristics of critical thinking, right? And then educating the whole person. So of course, when we teach, it's not only delivering the materials, transferring the material, but also we have to educate the students so they can learn which ones that the points that they can learn for their life or their decisions or the way of their thinking and so forth, right? How to be a good person, how we avoid a bad person and so forth. There are so many things that we can learn from literature in involving in a language class. And the next one is challenge. Of course, no doubt, we will meet a challenge when we are going to use literature works in our language class. The first thing is an easy task for EFL learners, right? Especially limited vocabularies. How come we learn in a foreign language literature works? Meanwhile, our students' capacity of vocabulary is limited, for example. Of course, this is the first thing, the challenge for the teacher, right? When we are going to teach about literature in our language class. And then, of course, we have the thing to overcome those challenges, of course. For example, using AI, as Mbak Putri mentioned, and various learning media, various technology that enhance us when we teach about literature works and involving in our language class. And the next one is passive response or static participants, of course, because perhaps they don't understand the vocabulary and so forth. And will be the condition and situations in the classroom or environment in the classroom will be passive. So we have to consider about this, how to make the classes attractive or so forth. And when the students giving a passive response, of course, they are being unengaged. Meanwhile, engagement is the most important when we teach in a particular class, right? And no contextual relevance to the students' individual interests, even not, maybe there is no interest at all from the students because of the language, maybe it's so hard for them and difficult to understand by the student perhaps. So we have to consider about that one. For example, displaying interesting video, songs like by Hans did, right? And for example, pictures or something or
Thank
game
you.
or something, right? To make the class is more interesting or interactive. because of limitations of vocabulary capacity, right? And the dynamic or diverse English competence level. Of course, in our class, particularly in our language class, the difference of the language level is quite occur, right? Particularly in English class, for example, right? And the lack of linguistic and grammatical issues. And this is also the problem from our students where we are going to involve literature in our language class. And we have to consider about this one to anticipate this happens to our language class. Okay, and the next one, what kind of approach is actually it's been explained by the Mbak Putria and other members of this group. For example, Mbak Uni and only two, right? Mbak Uni and Mbak Putria. Okay, and approaches in teaching literature, you can help with reader response approach. The first approach means that the major aspect of the reader's response approach, including emphasizing the reader's participations and process-oriented approach to reading literature. This allows students to use their perspective, ideas, and emotion in interpreting literature work. So this kind of approach stimulates or build the students' critical thinking, not only listening, receiving, accepting the textual that we transfer to the students, but let's invite them, engage them to understand what we explain to them, right? So this kind of like reader response. And please ask to them why it happens and why, give me the reason, example, can you give me more, and so forth. And the next one is language-based approach. The language-based approach focuses on understanding the language of literature, providing a foundational and accessible method for language learners. It employs activities like brainstorming, rewriting has been mentioned by Mbak Putri ya tadi, summarizing close exercises and jigsaw, for example, reading to enhance comprehension, collaborations, and, for example, critical thinking too. Or other teaching English as a language teaching, for example, you can put audiolingual method to direct method, and then suggestopedia and so forth. You can improve with this kind, you can innovate with this kind of English language teaching methods. And the one and only the main end goal is to improve their English language teaching, right? That's the first goal that you would like to conduct when you are going to involving literature materials in English language teachings. That approaches that you can apply to the ELT one. And the next one is research in language literature. I think this is kind for beyond level, high level, because we involve the research in particular language literature. For example, you can start or begin in senior high school student, for example, but from the senior, you will struggle about that one when we would like to involve the research, kind of research into our class. And for example, research in language literature and educations, we can apply stylistic, or we can do or conduct research utilizing stylistic, for example, to examine aspects such as diction, syntax, figurative language, and then tone, rhythm, narrative technique, and etc. Or education's perspective, for example, to investigate the teaching method, the teaching or learning material curriculum, the syllabus, the student engagement, the skill development, cultural awareness, assessment technique, etc. Or readers reading literature, for example, you would like to explore the interaction between readers and literature, focusing on their experience, cognitive processes, and then emotional reactions, and so forth. And for example, you are going to focus on research methodology in literature 40, such as experiment, survey, case study, ethnography, narrative inquiry, and so forth. This kind of like domain or aspect that you concerns on research in language, literature, and education. And incorporating technology advancements in teaching literature, actually specifically and precisely have been explained by Mbak Putria, utilizing AI, for example, as relevant or very updated tool that been used today, right? You are involving AI into your English language teaching. For example, you can use digital books. I think it's kind of still traditional because the difference is only the pattern or the form one, right? A digital storytelling, but I think still relate with the condition today, and using learning management system. I think recently, junior high school and also senior high school been utilizing or using learning management system, right? Or you can involve with augmentation reality, virtual reality, game, etc. This is kind of like involving technology or incorporating technology advancement in teaching literature. And the conclusion ones for this topic is, well, actually numerous reasons and benefits to adopting literary study in ELT, but challenges for the students are essentially to be concerned or cannot be neglected. And this is kind of like anticipations for us when we are going to teach using literary works in English language teachings, yeah. Hence, the appropriate approach, method, procedure, material, and other pedagogical elements should be priority considerations before teaching it. And research of literature in ELT has to be potential, such as the trend today incorporating technology advancement, but however, in conducting research in literature, research methodology is crucial to be implemented optimally as the foundations of the researcher. And let me display to you all the example of research when utilizing literary work, yeah, in English language teaching. This is one of the article or one of the research from India, yeah. Actually English for them is a second language, yeah, and for us is foreign language, yeah. And the researchers held a research about conducting a drama in education for second language pedagogy, yeah. Their research about conducting a drama in English language teachings, and the research questions or the aim of this research is they would like to know what are the parents' perception regarding the online process drama for second language learning, and then what is the pedagogical potential of conducting online process drama for second language learning, and what issues and challenges does the facilitator face while conducting online process drama for second language learning. This research, it becomes or can be as an example for you all if you would like to do a research regarding about incorporating or involving literature works or literature genre in your English language teaching. So actually, I have observed all of the presenters that has delivering the material of presentations, but just little of you still displaying about the result, right? Actually, you should close to the research, everyone. In every single your presentation, please attach one of the results so you can get close to the research. What kind of research that you are going to conduct later on in your master thesis. Okay, sorry. My laptop is going to... Wait a minute, yeah. I take my charger first. Okay, this one. That's why every single of my explanations, I aid with the research result, because actually my intentions to do that is to make you close with the research actually, but it seems that still struggling for you to present the research result. Am I right? Or any other reasons why in every single of your presentations you hinder or a barrier to present the research results? Can you give me explanations, Pak Hen, perhaps?
Yeah, it seems we have a kind of a lack of expertise, ma'am, in doing a research. Yeah, seems we have to learn more from you. Yeah, especially this kind of a critical theory. Yeah. What we have an idea about this kind of subject is the way we use more on the language teaching. Yeah. So that's the problem for us. Yeah, because so far my background actually applied linguistics, so I've never learned kind of literary something like
Mm.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever gone to Google Scholar? Have you ever visited to Google Scholar to search particular research?
Yes, once, man.
Once.
Once.
Okay, thank you for your answer. What about Bu Nurlina? Bu Nurlina, can you give me the reasons why? I saw that I have seen from several presenters avoid to present the research result or research article because I think this is essential for you to prepare your master thesis, right? You should close to the research, everyone, from now.
Yes, ma'am.
You should close to the research. You should understand the research, right? So I always attach, right, a research article in every single of my summary, right?
Thank you.
Every single, it means my intention, my purpose is you are getting close to the research because this is your initial strategy to finish or to accomplish your master thesis sooner, right? So you have to plan from now. You have to plan from now, right? So that's why. Okay, according to Bu Nurlina, what do you think?
At the first, I opened the Google Scholar for
Yes. And then what happened?
3 or 4 times maybe, and
Okay, that's great.
I find so many articles about
Yes.
the article relates to my paper, such as for Todorov especially, but for the Fundic, I didn't open it anymore because
Okay.
I found it is very very detailed, and
Yes.
but it need a lot efforts to understand the paper, and it spent a lot of time for me. Yeah.
Time constraints, yeah?
Yes.
The first one, Pak Hans, because a different educational background, so still hinder and still not sure, yeah, to pick or to select one of or to understand research article purpose. And for Bu Rina, the obstacle is time constraint, right? Yes, if you would like to understand a particular research article, you should you should give a space to understand this research article where we are going to begin, right? This is still a question from you, right? Okay, because the text is too small, right? The letter is too small, so many,
the font
and the
is too
space
small,
is only one,
That's
you
the
know?
obstacle. Then I lost my interest. Yes.
This is the obstacle. Also,
and
as
then
a
also the
teacher,
way they
when
illustrate.
it's about literary and you would like to put literary works to your student, it's
We will,
quite
ma'am. We
similar.
will, ma'am.
Yeah, because the letters are too many, right? Especially the topic is not interested for you, right? There is no picture at all in research article.
Yeah, that's the point.
All of them are text and letters, and the size and font of the letter is very quite small, right? But you have to close with them, unfortunately, or blessing in disguise is where we call it. Okay.
And I think finally we have to make this like this at the end, right?
Yeah. You have to do this, you know, and you have to finish your master thesis in approximately 2 years only, right?
Yeah, we will, ma'am.
Your plan, right? That your prediction, right? Only 2 years, and you have to finish it. If not, you have to pay, right?
Yes, ma'am. Right now, ma'am.
2 years, you should pay again and again, right? So this can be your trigger or your motivations, right? I should finish sooner, so I have to make the plan from now. So how do I make the plan? Because this is already in 13 meetings, and it is getting too close to us to separate, right? Okay. Yeah, we only left meetings more, right? Okay, so that's why I'd like to remind to you all. So you should close with research article because this is the brief report one. It's more complicated if you learn a real master thesis report that minimally 100 pages, right? Master thesis report in Unindra minimally is 100 page or actually 80 page actually, but this is the very standard one. You don't want present the standard one, right? The safe one is approximately 100 pages. Can you imagine when you should read a master thesis, it contains 100 pages. If this is only 11, only 10 page, right? Not more. This is the brief report. You should read it.
It's okay,
And it's
ma'am.
okay if you would like to use artificial intelligence wherever, yeah, Gemini or ChatGPT, it's okay. But please, don't only hang on to them, yeah? But you still do this, yeah? Because you will face oral examinations in your master thesis. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Oral examinations, okay? And it will be challenging for you if you are not doing kind of like these presentations. It will be hard for you to face it in the future if you are not practicing like presentation like today. Do you understand? Because you are prepared for that oral examinations for your master thesis. And then when you put your master thesis, if there is no substance in your mind, for example, the contents of our mind, of cognitive tool is coming from our reading habit, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. It's not enough only for your teaching material because you are going to do a research. Conducting a research is different when you are teaching in the classroom, right? So you should common to read a lot of research article. That's why I always attach research article in my explanation.
Thank you very much.
Because you have to close with this one, okay? Starting from the most interested critical theorists that you like, whether Todorov, whether Van Dyck, Wadak, or Raman Jacobson, whatever you like, yeah? Starting from the very you like. Of course, I understand time constraint is your problem and my problem too, right?
Yeah.
But as your commitment, when you enroll to the master thesis in Unindra, that you are going to pursue your master thesis, right? So you have to
Be committed,
follow
ma'am.
your commitment again, to remind your commitment again. So whether you are worker, whether you are wife, whether you are whatever, you should give your space time to read research. Okay, this is my message, yeah.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
to,
Absolutely.
yeah, this is thing that I would like to remind you all the time. So when you start to do, for example, next semester, you are requested to make, please choose your master thesis topic so you will not get confused, right? Where I have to do, where should I begin with, and so forth, right? Begin with reading research article. This is the sample one, right? Okay, if you don't interested in the literature area, for example, you can interested with critical discourse analysis in my course, for example. If it's not from my course or from my subject, so you can try another subject, but read research article is a must for you, yeah, as a master thesis student. All right. This is, and thank you so much for the response, Pak Hen and Mbak Bu Nurlina. Yeah, I think your answers represents all of your classmates' mind, or maybe more, but I could not ask one by one, of course. It should be much time that I need if I would like to ask one by one, right?
Ma'am.
But yeah, the main point, my goal, my purpose as about this, or questions about this, is to remind you that you have to close with research articles. You have to understand the kinds of research, right?
Yes, ma'am. May I
Yeah.
interrupt a little bit, ma'am?
A little bit of what?
Yeah, just to interrupt you a little bit right now. Actually, I'm on the progress of doing a little research, yeah, regarding classroom action research. And lucky me, on my campus, I'm invited by doctor, yeah, and then she wants to write an article. Then she needs my help, especially in English. Yeah, and then perhaps, yeah, in the near future, I'm going also to release my first journal.
Wow, research article. Wow, that's great.
But this one is just, I'm
Oh,
just a kind of a co-worker in this case.
Okay, that's a great news. I think that's a great beginning for you, Pahen. Not only translating the language, please don't only learn
No,
about
yeah.
translating, but learn
It is my research, ma'am. It's not translating, but this is my
Yeah.
research. Yeah, that
Oh.
I already discussed with the authority of our faculty, and it seems they want to finance my research. And suddenly,
Giving funding, yeah.
an idea. Why don't you start with writing journal article? And I
Yeah,
said,
this is
wow, I remember your name, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, that's great beginning, I think. And of course, when you would like or to conduct a research, you should find a mentor text article, right? You should search a research article model as your mentor. Then you can learn from each article, right? How do I start it and how do I proceed it and how do I end it and so forth, right? That's a great beginning, I think. Good
Thank you,
job
ma'am.
and good luck for your project, yeah, Pahen.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, but I don't know, yeah, it will be permitted or not for master thesis, yeah, for kind of like accent research in Unindra. I don't know about that. You can ask to the Prodi one, yeah.
It's not for Unindra, ma'am. It's for my, my
Personal.
career. Yeah, my faculty.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. But it's okay. It's a great beginning. But for your master thesis, I don't know it will be permitted or not. But it's okay. No matter what kind of the research is, no problem. But the most important, you learn the process of doing a research, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's yeah, you will have experience, right? And you should search kind of like references and you have to display background, and then you have to display literature review, the theoretical concept and so forth, and how do you execute and you have to collect the data and how do you execute the data and so forth. That's the most important. The experience is the best teacher, right? Someone said that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good luck for your project, Pahen. Okay. Yeah, hopefully that's all of you here getting close to the research article, everyone. And this is kind of like example of the researcher implementing a drama in online site for second language pedagogy, and it's from India, right? And this is the research question. So there will be 3 results from this research article. The researcher finds out or investigates the parents' perceptions about implementing drama in online site, and then pedagogical potential, conducting online process drama, and issues and challenges that they face when doing this. Yeah? And this kind of like literature review that they attach here. Oh, not only 3, I think there are 4. The first one is miss this one, yeah. How did the participant perceive the impact of the drama intervention in L2 or with classroom and so forth, yeah. And this one is the participations and participants and context of the study, yeah. Demographics mean the participants of the research, respondent, yeah. And the next one, procedures. The researchers also explain about the procedures. How the procedure 1, then program commences with introductory session, prior students' interaction and familiar with the pedagogical approach and terminology associated with a drama in educations. And then from the second day, our thought for efficacy to primary object language teaching, the research facilitate recording, the observations, yeah. So the way or the procedure, the researchers conduct research by doing or by taking by recording, observations, and field notes. You have to familiar with this kind of terms, everyone. Yeah. Collecting the data by recording and also observations and also field notes each day in his reflective journal. Upon the completion of the workshop, authors gather feedback from the students through semi-structured interview. So there are many tools that this researcher used here, not only recording, but also observation, but also reflective journal and also interview. Wow, this is a great, the most complex or the more complex in collecting the data is the more valid the data it is. And it's a great for the data in research, right? The study also attempts to examine the general understanding of drama education for second language learning. Therefore, also collected feedback from the parents, not only the students, but also the parents. And also collect the feedback from, they conducted both feedback sessions through Zoom, Zoom video calls. Luckily today we don't have to meet the respondents or participants in face-to-face, right? Luckily today we can conduct or collecting the data using video conference. For example, here is Zoom, right? And semi-structured interview schedule and for data collection is given below, This is very detailed, I think, the procedure one. Questions for student. How was your overall experience of the workshop about drama in online and so forth? What did you like the most in the workshop? Questions for the parents too. And this is demographic from the participants of this research. And the researcher here also applies the framework for using key features of applications to conduct online process drama for second language learning too. And then drama in education sessions, a structure for second language learning too, explained here. You can read it individually later on. And for the data analysis procedures, the researcher illustrated in this picture framework. This is the framework where using key feature applications to conduct online process drama for second language learning. For example, the researcher used WhatsApp for informations and material sharing like we do today, right? And then assignment submissions using WhatsApp, and then discussions and chats. And meanwhile, for the Zoom, the researcher used for spotlight and pin, breakout room, chat, session recording using reactions and screen sharing. You can adopt this kind of like this teaching, everyone. And drama in education session structure for second language learning. The research also explore and illustrates the sequence of drama in education sessions here. Start activities with the objective to bring the energy, attention, and focus to classroom lessons, and then a drama exercise with the objective of to prepare students for the further activities, and then process drama, the objective is to unfold and co-create the story where the teacher and student work together in role and out of role. And the last one is reflections, and the objective one is to reflect on the linguistic and across curricular learnings. And the schedule. We should also attach the schedule in detail. Yes, when you would like to do a research, you should transparently explain the procedure of your teachings to the audience, to the reader. So it means to validate your research. Okay, this is the workshop schedule 1, introductions with a learning objective, to make students familiar with the teaching, learning practice of process drama, to make them acquainted with each other, and to set the clear expectation from the workshop, and a key drama technique, narrations, mime, and role play. And beside of that, the topic consists of conversation, speaking, listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, accuracy, power of speech, again, tense, again, and the last one is revisions. And the detail you can read it individually later on. And you should explain about this in very procedurally and detail. And this is the results on the research analysis here. The first one, analysis of the learner's feedbacks. The drama education is grounded in pedagogy for experiential learning, immerse learners in diverse situations, facilitating their comprehension of language inherent in these scenarios. But consequently, it becomes essential to understand the perspective on the intervention program, the insight obtained from learner feedback, data provide comprehensive understanding of the evidence of online drama in education. The subsequent subsistence systematically present and analyze the viewpoints of the learners. And the first result is coming from learners' experience with pedagogy. Here the research explained the learner experience with pedagogy. And then the growth in learners' linguistic skill. And the next one, growth in learner skill related to affective domain. Later on, you can read it in detail. And previously is about students, and the next one, the learner's feedback, and the next one is from perspective of parents' feedbacks according about the IE, drama in online. And then parent perceptions of pedagogy, there are skills related to affective domain. It means that there is improvement in their children motivations and confidence, And the next one is growth in social skills. According to the parents, drama offers various advantages in the classroom, with the development of social skills being one of its key benefits. And the scholars have extensively studied the questions of social skill in language classroom. So this is aligned to the result of the previous research about conducting drama in ELT or a second language learning here. Growth in language skills, given the exposure of students to this interim method and the brief 15-day workshop duration, parents did not explicitly mention the growth in their English language proficiency in the feedback. However, the parents did highlight that the student had the opportunity to learn and practice their language lessons. And the next one is teachers' observations on conducting process drama in online mode for language teaching, drama and language exercise using Zooms. How was the result? The president demonstrated a profound engagement with the process of drama, which blurred the distinction between the online and offline, DIE, sessions for the facilitator, and so forth, yeah? So the dynamic utilization of Zoom sustains students' interest and provide a flexible platform for diverse activities, including recording sessions. And nature of the teacher-student interactions. The result one, the teacher-students interaction in the online setting occurred through diverse methods, the break room and so forth, and challenge such challenges such as network connectivity and so forth. And the nature of student interactions, how about student interactions during drama online and so forth. This is also discussed in this article. And it says that despite the absence of physical presence, students had diverse communication channels. The private chat feature a lot careful conversation between students, ensuring privacy and so forth. And online process drama can become truly interculturally, and also it discusses issue and challenge. For example, like a lack of physical presence made the make-believe process more challenging, and then network connectivity breaks the flow. Facilitators' adaptability was challenged too. Found it in the research. Student lack of virtual research was the biggest hurdle, the research said. And then the discussion here is confirming and disconfirming according to the relevant studies. So here discussing about the result of the previous research and the result of this research or the current research. And come to the conclusion one. In this study, author explored the possibility of connected drama in educations in online mode, especially for second language teaching and learning. To achieve their goal, the authors developed a framework to use online platform utilizing WhatsApp and Zoom to conduct the DIE classes and also develop lesson plans to conduct 15 sessions. By analyzing the feedback received by the learners and the parents, as well as through observations and field notes, they found that the IA method positively impacted students, particularly in linguistic, social, and affective skills. And the process drama technique in online space helps learners enhance the language competence, motivations, and confidence. Additionally, it helps learners to develop a healthier relationship with each other and also with the facilitator too. This investigation augments the extant literature on language learning through drama-based methods, reaffirming prior findings regarding the efficacy of the DIA method, advancing language skills too. Furthermore, the studies shed light on integrating technology-mediated performative teaching practices to the research to deepen comprehensions of the applications and constraints of the AI. So here it is called as the limitations of the study, she said, or the researcher said, yeah. So this is opportunity for you as the new researcher, if you would like or interest in conducting this kind of like this one, to know, to investigate it, the effectiveness or how far, how extends where we would like to conduct particular literature methods in our class, for example, in online setting like this one. And overall, this study underscored the potential of employing the IA method virtual space as practical and effective approach to second language instructions. Incorporating online DIY into language education enable educators to establish immersive and interactive learning environments, fostering enhanced language proficiency and social and effective skill among the students. Okay, this is one of the example of the research from the researcher from India that here is supposed to be here, right? Yeah, they conducted research and to find out, to investigate the online drama, how extent drama online in second language pedagogy. This is kind of a sample for you if you would like to adopt research like this one in critical theories or literature, particularly in English language teaching. Okay, everyone, this is the example one. Well, actually, yes. If you are not beginning or starting from now, so when? When you are requested a title from your lecturer in seminar, in thesis proposal subject later on, yeah, maybe you can try to read one article that you really interested on. Yeah, you please begin from now. For example, Pak Han, research with accent research, right? It's a good start, I think.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Wish
Yeah,
me luck.
hopefully it can viruses to others. Characteristic of the students, the enthusiastic, the attractiveness, what they are like. Mostly we as a teacher who know them well, right? Not me. Characteristics of the students. So of kindness. Yeah, you have to consider the age, what kind of material that they like actually. And then what kind of the story that they like, media preference of like the visual that they like, what else. Before we applying literature concept or methodological, or this is my answer actually. But
Thank you very much, ma'am.
yeah, for example, in this class, actually still little bit a break about touching of research article, right? Stimulations for you to recognize the kind of research article matter thesis, to the kind of material that's level, that's appropriate level to the master students, everyone. And also consider about the teaching goal, yeah, Pak Han. What is your teaching goal? That's the most important one, right? Because your goal here is you are going to craft a master thesis later on. So I always recognize to you all about the master students should be. Yeah, because you are later on in the future will be not only about master thesis act student, right? But you are going to be a lecturer where the lecture is not only about teaching, but also researching. We should know about teaching, and we should know about how to do a research. And additional one, we should do a community service. Yeah. Community service. So the knowledge that we have already got or already accepted, right, in the university, we have to share to others, to community, right? These are the obligations being a lecturer later on. So you have to close with that one, okay? That's why later on in the third semester, yeah, you is a community service, yeah, as your own. So the idea of doing community service, of course, related to this program, right? English education, you will share about education strategy, English education strategy approach, utilizing technology, media, and so forth, later on to the teacher. Yeah, mainly your community is the teachers, perhaps in senior high school or others. Yeah, it will be in third semester. So be ready for that one. Keep fighting, everyone. Okay, keep fighting. Keep fighting and always positive thinking and convincing to yourself that you can do it. Inshallah, ya.
Amin, amin,
Okay.
amin.
Right. For your time.
Apa? Pak Arif, oh,
Miss Mary
enggak.
enggak ya? Pak Arif bertiga doang.
Enggak jadi satu saya. Di record nih. Alhamdulillah saya minggu yang lalu diundang sama authority ya, sama dekan itu